Get him.
No, he
But
probably blowed his horn.
yeah, he always blew his horn. And ours had a Henry J. Car. Because that we thought that was something because a new car. The Henry J just came out then, early 50s.
Radcliffe had it.
Yeah, it was Radcliffe, yes.
Our first mail carrier I remember couldn't blow his horn if he was driving a horse.
And driving a horse?
I never remembered a horse carrying our mail. And as far back as I can go is a Model A Ford. And we lived out where on the route. There may have been Model Ts went by there. But we was far enough off of the road that I didn't get up to the road in time to see the Model T.
Do you remember Lee Perkiser?
I
remember the name.
Yeah, I remember
Lee
that.
Perkiser
He was a mail
carried
carrier.
our mail
For years.
in a horse and buggy.
Oh, I don't remember the horse and buggy. I remember he carried the
horse and
mail.
buggy. Then he had a Model T Ford.
So I'm going to ask you one more question. When you think about different people that you've known throughout your life, what would you say about my dad that made him maybe a little bit different than other people you knew, if anything?
I don't know how you'd say it. He was a different person to what most of them were. And probably his gambling was the biggest thing. I mean, he would bet on anything.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things I remember about him.
Conservative with his money, penny pincher, more so than others.
He took care of his money,
Yeah, I know.
He didn't go out here and say, well, I've got $20 in my pocket and play till that 20 was gone. No. If he didn't come out a few dollars ahead, he didn't play very long. He'd go
He always had a little money in his pocket,
That's
didn't
right. If there's a game here and he was losing a little bit, he'd find another one. And he usually come out ahead, but that's what I say, maybe a few cents or a few dollars.
Yeah.
he? Always ahead.
And your dad, and Gilbert was a gambler too. They even went from here to Muncie and
Yeah.
gambled. It was just,
Now,
it wasn't legal, but the gambling places was there.
Gilbert lived in Muncie for quite a while, several years. I don't know how
Well,
long.
Howard did.
Oh, you lived up there too?
Yeah, Carl lived there a long
Yeah,
time.
Carl
Yeah.
lived there till he died.
Yeah.
Actually, is his wife still, or did she die?
No, she died.
expect
But
she died.
I didn't know about her dying until after she'd already died.
I knew her, but I can't even remember her name now.
Ruth.
Ruth,
Yeah,
yeah.
well, Ruth was.
Gibbs' wife was named Ruth too.
We used to, when we first were married, we went to Muncie. That's where we ended up. And my brother was married to a woman, her name was Drum, last name was. And she had a sister, and we'd go out there and play cards on Saturday night. Well, nobody won very little money. And she'd start the next morning, she made biscuits and gravy, and it was water gravy.
After all that gambling.
But me and Helen tried to win enough money to go to car races Sunday afternoon. Well, it took $50 for both of us to get in. And that's what we tried to win.
Tried to win 50 cents.
There you go. Well, nice
Yeah,
meeting you.
I'm going to have to get going.
Okay. We appreciate it, Howard. Really do.
I hope I've told you a few things that you'd like to know.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And since we have
been
poor
interesting.
memories, now we can remember.
It's been interesting. I've heard stuff, but I didn't know.
There's stuff that I don't remember. I had
Well, yeah.
when I had that one heart attack, there were things I forgot. That's just like the school up here, the Wyman kids.
Yeah.
I don't remember one of them being in school. And I
This
went to
sort-
school
this-
with. I know I went to school with all of them.
There's certain things you forgot, and then.
I forgot how many of them. I've heard Carl. You know Carl. Warren.
Well, I know all
Well,
of
I
them.
think he
know,
said there
but-
was 14 of them kids lived together there at one time.
Well,
Well, that's a
They weren't. They weren't
they
all.
were half.
They were half brothers.
Shermans and
There was Ed and Lawrence Norman. That was the Sherman.
and Pearl. Wasn't there
Huh?
Pearl? The girl Pearl.
Pearl,
She
no,
might
she
already
was
be
a
married.
hedge.
Huh?
Pearl was a hedge.
Oh,
Uh,
I just remember that sister.
but then of the Wyman kids, there was Jim, and Clarence, Carl, Don, Mabel, and Juanita, and Harold.
I remember.
I remember the kids, but
I
I
don't
don't
remember
remember them in
Harold.
school.
I remember all the rest of them kids, but Harold. He probably died maybe before I.
He died in 1932.
You know, I lived pretty close to here when I was growing up,
Yeah,
but I didn't know anybody from that highway down there up this way.
that's right. You
Huh.
didn't
You
know.
missed a lot. You missed out.
Oh, I did.
You missed
No.
out.
But I didn't
They
know
had,
anybody.
they
Huh.
had the same groups on that
Oh,
side
yeah.
as we had on
Yeah.
that side.
Or they're just too far from home, I guess.
Yeah,
That
we
was,
just,
that was a different neighborhood.
That's
just a
right.
different neighborhood.
It's not-
'Cause
There's
we
a red-
didn't have any reason to come over through
There
here.
was a Red
we would once
Quarry,
in a while if we
Red
had to.
Quarry neighborhood, the Buncombe neighborhood, and the Natchez Berry hood,
Antioch neighborhood.
Emmons Ridge.
Emmons Ridge, and
Rusk.
But we, this was just like
Miller
another
School
country.
out
Oh, yeah.
over
Oh, is that
there.
right?
When I was a kid, I never got over here. I didn't know Marie till she come by my house one morning and wanted to know if she could ride to work with me.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're looking for a ride, Marie?
yeah. Boy, he took me for a ride. It'd be mad the first, because Ruth got him
lasted
up,
a long time.
and he'd come to stop. He wouldn't. He
But
would stop real.
I remember when she was born.
Up the
You're-
road. eh?
So how old would have Grandma been when you were born?
32.
32.
But your dad was about 6 weeks younger than me.
Is that right?
Yeah, I remember
When
you
was-
used
oh,
to
you
come
was
over
born
there and get off the bus, you and Herman, and
You was born in 1918, I think you said a while ago.
I was born in 18. Herman, I was born the 26th January 1918. Herman was born the first part of March,
March
the
3rd.
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 19 and 18.
Yeah, that's
So-
what it was.
So it wasn't only about 6 weeks different.
So Grandma was
You
born
ready
in
to take me?
96.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Go.
18. She would have been 20 then when Daddy was born.
Probably.
This is a beautiful day. I'm fighting sun, as you can see. I thought I'd get some of this. This is Buncombe Holler. And straight ahead, a little grove of trees at the end of the mowing. That's where the McCracken house was. Spring was in the thicker groves behind it. That's where we gathered water. Not a tree left here. The bob whites, which always enjoyable. There's apple orchard here, which is no longer was here. This is the spring, or this is the creek, not the branch, pardon me. It's all full of sycamore trees and willows when Irene and I were growing up, and crooked, but now it's straight. Full of crawdads, wasn't it, Irene?
Absolutely, pinch your toes, but good to get out and wait on a hot day. Didn't have a swimming pool to go to. And if you would have, you didn't have the money to go, nor gas to put in the truck.
Right.
And that would say the truck had, could even make the trip. So this is where you went on a hot day. This is where
Yep.
you went to play.
Yeah.
And the house, well, he didn't tell you about the house.
Uh-uh.
It was 4 rooms. The bedrooms
Little
was-
rooms.
Pardon?
Little rooms.
Yes, very small rooms. 4 people, 2 adults, 2 children, 4 rooms. Bedrooms, too hot in the summer, so you sit on the porch and talk and send somebody in occasionally to check out to see can we stand it or not, basically.
Yeah.
3 people in the bed, so you're going to be pretty close. And in the winter, well, you had a wood stove that was supposed to heat, let's say, the whole house, which it did not. Closed off the bedrooms in the daytime, opened them about an hour before you went to bed. And then you literally ran, you did not walk, you ran in because the room was still really cold, jumped into bed, and hoped Grandma didn't delay very long because she was the heat.
Right.
Sometimes we would take an old iron, put it on the stove, and get it hot. Now, when I say hot, if you would take your finger and lick it and put it to it, it would have made steam. Wrapped an old rag around it.
Mm-hmm.
Hope it didn't fall off, because if it did, you would literally burn a blister on your toe or whatever part of you touched it. And in the morning, well, when it was time to get up, you literally ran out of the room and into the living room, because Grandma usually got up and made a little fire. Then out the door you'd go to the barnyard, milk the cows, let the chickens out, feed them some corn.
Yeah.
And if you had anything to feed the pigs, which was slop, and I'm sure you know exactly what slop is, but slop was a mixture of the dirty dishwater and whatever peelings you had, like potato peelings, anything like that, food scraps that would be thrown in. And oh, by the way, the dog didn't have dog food, so he'd go and check out the slop too.
Yeah, check it over for the good stuff.
Well, people I've met and things that I've did. I guess I would have been about 8 when we moved, 8 to 9, I guess, when we moved down to New Albany. But those were the most memorable. I can remember more things out of those 8 years,
Mm-hmm.
and you really don't even start remembering things. I can remember bits and sketches, like I can remember crawling on the front porch and there was dogs that were standing higher than me. Now I can remember that. I can remember sitting on Ed's lap.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he'd like to feed you.
And he would feed me. Now I can remember sitting at the table, at the head of the table, not at the side. We sat at the head, like it'd be facing the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember sitting on his lap. Now that's the real young, and then after that I can remember a lot of things, you know. I got a little bit older. About the time you could get out and go to the barn, whatever age. I would say that's about 2.
That's the hill we would come down after coming from church with no light.
No light but stars, if you had any.
Yeah.
If you didn't have any, well,
You move
it's
slow.
like walking in a cave.
I always wondered, yeah, if that water moccasin or that copperhead was still on the road or not.
Yeah. Yep.
Church is up there, you can't see it.
We cut through up here. If you had to go to the bathroom, you had to pass through the woods before you got to church.
Yeah.
And this road used to be gravel.
Yeah.
There's no paved road.
Be a big dust cloud as the car would come down the hill. Yeah. Trailer trash, huh? Yeah. Yeah. See, we gotten put on airs as a country here in the last 20 years.
This really hadn't changed that much.
But see, that's a pretty scene there.
Oh, absolutely.
What I want to do, I go up here to the church, Highland Chapel,
Yeah.
do a little bit of the church graveyard, and come back in the one-room school. And then we're headed to, I'm going to head up here top Mount Air for the sunsets.
Yeah.
It's a quick schedule.
Well, you're going to have to go that way. I got to go home to get some stuff done.
Okay.
Probably going to head out to the cabin. Well, not in the morning,
Yeah.
but I got to have everything ready so after church I'm leaving.
Well, this is the hill Breedlove was talking about, Howard. They start hollering here at the top with the McCrackens. I'm going to show you the Y here. And up here this direction, the direction he would have been coming down from, Highland Chapel, and the one-room school up here at the top. And then down here to our left is more Breedloves. Been around here a long time, and this is the other bunch he was talking about down this way. So he'd holler from up in here, and more would meet as they came from up here, head to there, then on the 5 miles to town, school. And when he got to here, he probably already walked 3 miles. Now, there was a shortcut here cutting this road, the hairpin curve out. I used to walk, and there's an old path. There's an old path right here.